ドジャースのレジェンド投手クレイトン・カーショウ選手が対レッツ戦登板の翌日に LA のラジオ局に出演しました。現在の自分自身や今のチームの素晴らしさ、また大谷についても熱く語っているので訳しました。なお、大谷選手の登板日直前の収録と思われますので、大谷の登板結果は会話に反映されていません。
I'm just pitching on the right day, you know. The offense decides to show up for me, so it's awesome. And yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been fun to be healthy, fun to get out there. And you know, last night was a good one for us. I only made it through 5, but bullpen picked me up. Offense got a lot of runs for us, and another big win. So it was fun.
Now, you say you only made it through 5, but that's kind of been rare on this run, Clayton. We've seen you get into the 6. We've seen you get past the 6. Kind of how. Yeah, I mean, and I brought this up with Dave Roberts earlier. I said, you know, it's so different now versus when you started. Do you still hold yourself to those, you know, early 2000 in the teen standards of I expect to go 7, 8 innings like you used to, compared to sort of what we have today with all these specialists?
Yeah, I mean, no. Just to be honest, you know, I think my role's changed on this team, you know, and I think I'm okay with that. You know, we got a lot of guys that can throw the ball really well, and a lot of guys that can go deep into the games now. So my job is just to do as best I can, go as far as I can, and it worked out really well last night. You know, Shohei pitched unbelievable, got us through 7 innings the night before, and then you know, we have an off day tomorrow, so. Especially with 6 starters too. I was the Friday night starter for a while there, you know, just pitching every Friday. So they're doing a great job taking care of all of us, and it's been a blast. Great group of guys, and it's been fun, man. It really has.
That's the college baseball that you never got to play that Friday night.
That's right.
It's to be his Friday night starter. One thing that we've heard from everybody, because obviously we've been so impressed by this particular, I mean, by so much you do, but this particular run, and everybody has the same sort of response, is just compete. They say grit, but compete's kind of the one thing we hear most. So if you could share with us, what does it mean to compete for every pitch to you? How is that working for you that's led to all this success?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think that's the equalizer when you're on a baseball field because, you know, nowadays we have all these metrics, we have all these iPads, all these things telling us how great our pitches are. And I'm not going to be the old, you know, curmudgeon of a guy saying that's not important, because it definitely is. If you have good stuff, you have a better chance of getting guys out. But at the end of the day, man, it's really just you versus the hitter. And it's really just you trying to figure out your best pitches to get this guy out. And baseball can be as complex as you want it to. It can be as simple as you want it to. And it's really just figuring out how to read a swing, get a guy out, make a pitch, and move on to the next guy and keep doing it pitch after pitch until they take you out. And that's what's so beautiful about baseball. That's what's so beautiful about pitching, is it really just comes down to you versus the hitter and whether you get enough guys out to make a good game out of it.
2-time world champion Clayton Kershaw joining us right now on the Petros and Money Show. You've been on a lot of different Dodger teams, Clayton. I mean, from Puig to Kemp to, you know, James Loney to the guys that you're playing with now. What is the differences in this team's personality? We know every year is different, as opposed to maybe last year's team, which was obviously very special.
Yeah, gosh, I've been on some interesting teams, huh? Just going all the way back, It's been unbelievable. I mean, we had Manny here for a while. We had Puig. We had, you know, just so many different personalities all the way down the list. And, you know, what I think is great about this team is that we have a ton of superstars, right? We got a lot of guys, Freddie, Mookie, Shohei, Will Smith, all these guys at the top of our lineup that are just superstar talents in the game. But I think where we differ among other teams is that they just are so they're so team first. And I guess I can't say that because I don't know a lot of other superstars, but it just feels like all these guys are so team first. They want to do whatever you can. You see it with Mookie every day playing shortstop. You see it with Freddie every day going out there regardless of how he's feeling. You know, Shohei obviously doing what he's doing, pitching and hitting, which nobody can do. And then Will Smith just back out there every day catching. That's the hardest position in sports. So we got a lot of guys that put the team first. We got a lot of superstars that do that. And to have that mindset, you know, at the top of your roster just filters all the way through. And we got a lot of guys that have a lot of fun too. You know, we got Miggy, Kike, Tom, all these guys that are just a blast to be around. And so it's a good combo, man. It's a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm the old guy now, but it's still a ton of fun around all these guys.
Well, it looks like you're having fun, and it's really gratifying, I think, for Dodger fans to see you having success at this point in your career and really being able to cheer for you striking guys out and doing what they're used to you doing all these years. When it comes to Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher, what did you think he was going to be like around him in the same staff, and what is he like maybe that you thought that was a little different?
Well, I think when you hear somebody that's going to pitch and hit, you kind of don't really understand all that entails until you see the day-to-day. And so for me to see what he has to do every single day to figure out how to pitch and then also, figure out how to get a hit every night, it's remarkable, man. It's not for everybody. And then, maybe there's some guys that might be able to hit and pitch in this game, but not to the level that he does it, not even close. And so for him to stay at that level takes so much preparation, takes so much work. And he's obviously a freak talent, right? I mean, there's nobody like him, but I've had a ton of fun getting to see it. I have a ton of respect for him. Not that I didn't before, but being able to see it from both sides is truly amazing. And I like watching him pitch. He's got good stuff, man. It's fun. I mean, it's just amazing. He comes out 100. He's got 17 different pitches, it feels like. So it's pretty fun to watch him pitch, too.
Do you miss hitting?
I miss taking batting practice. I don't miss trying to hit these guys at all, but I miss taking batting practice.
Going back to the pitching, Clayton, I don't think you ever got a chance. I think you were, I don't know, maybe you were at spring training with Greg Maddux, because I feel like he was here in like 06, right? When
I actually played with him. Yeah, I played with him in 2008. It was his
2008.
last year. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So you did play. I'm sure you've seen like the famous quote. I think it's about, nobody knows a car that's going 70 or a car that's going 90. You need the radar detector to tell you that. And he kind of talked about that in relation to pitching, but, controlling location and executing your pitches. Is if you could share, because, we're not going to talk to Greg, if you could kind of share with us why that is the key, at least according to arguably the greatest that's ever done it, what it is about that and how that's, allowed him to have all that success and you to have all this success.
Well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you throw it down the middle of the plate, the harder you throw, the better stuff you have, the more you're going to get away with it. But if you can do that to both sides of the plate, up and down too, you're going to have a ton of success. And then it's just all relative based on your stuff, right? So if you're throwing, 89 like I am, you better be able to hit your spots, and you better be able to do that with a lot of different pitches. And so that's not always the case for me, but recently I've been able to, mix and match and find both sides of the plate enough to where you kind of keep the hitters off balance. And so I think that's the great thing about pitching, is that it's not just a one-size-fits-all thing. Just because you throw 100 miles per hour doesn't mean you're going to have a ton of success, and just because you're able to have command doesn't mean you're going to have success. It's kind of a combo of everything, and like I said, that's the great thing about pitching, is it just comes in all shapes and sizes, and there's no one way to do it. And I'm learning how to do it on the fly. I've never been a guy that necessarily thought about mixing it up as much as I have been, or throwing a lot of different pitches, or throwing to both sides of the plate, or throwing change-ups or splits, or whatever you want to call the thing that I'm throwing. But it's been kind of fun for me to try it, and I've enjoyed it.
Do want to know before we let you go, because you've been very kind to us with your time, Clayton Kershaw with us. As we were watching the game last night, you get out there, and it looks like the hair's got a little bit of moisture. And I'm like, is he just sweating a lot when he pitches, or does he dunk his head under some cool water to kind of keep him cool on these hot days before he even takes the mound? Can you share
a wet look?
Yeah, like a wet look. What is your approach? Because it looks like there's a lot of moisture on the hair by the end of the first inning.
I'm sad to say, guys, that's just sweat. That's just that's just me. That's just life at this point, man. It's not easy to get out there. So by the time I'm warmed up, it takes me 6 hours to get loose. By the time I get loose, I'm sweaty, and it just stays through the whole game. So thankfully we play in LA where it's nice all the time. But I don't know how I do it in these humid cities, man. It would be tough.
Oh, no doubt. All right.
Thank God for Clayton Kershaw, a real prince of the city of Los Angeles, and somebody we've watched perform since he was a very young man, now a family man and a mentor and a future Hall of Famer. What a star.
18年間キャリア見て、登板見ることがあると思いますけども、何か成功する鍵とかありますか？
そうです、登板日はね、集中しているところを見ると、この集中力を長い年月続けていくっていうのは、それだけでも大変なことだと思いますし、その中で素晴らしい成績を残していくっていうのは、それはもう尊敬に値するところではあるので、本当毎日が見てて勉強になるところばかり